Ra 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 ra, Roma Roma ma Gaga, ooh la la.
Welcome to Bad at Board Games.
Well, he's bad at board games.
I'm Brad Blake.
And I'm Toph Ferguson.
We're Bad at Board Games, so you don't have to be. Today we're going to be talking about
Today we're talking about Raw,
by Reiner Knizia
with artwork by Ian O'Toole.
and published by 25th Century Games.
So Ra takes place in ancient Egypt, and we are working over the course of 3 epochs to be able to build ourselves the largest investment, the largest amount of money, or largest lot that we can have as we influence gods and do other things. The theme itself really kind of does take you through this journey, so you can kind of see, well, I don't know, maybe who might be the successful of the pharaohs or have the best favor shown on them throughout the ages.
And talking about the appearance, now this is the Deluxe edition, and I like it a lot. This is one chunky boy. Look at this. This is like 1.5 inch thick piece of wood that they made for just being able to say, time to do an auction.
Yeah.
I'm invoking Ra. This is what you get.
And that's what you expect when you invoke Ra. Yeah.
But really thick auction sundials, and then with the upgraded, all the tiles that you auction and draw out of the bag, these are all wooden. Kind of, they're not balsa wood, but they're very light. It's very strange, but it's still cool. And then in the deluxe version, these are some of the best coins I've ever experienced. And you put all the auction tiles in the bag, came with a little pin, which I thought was pretty cool. And then you get, another bag for all the coins. Now, do you need the fancy coins? No, it's just for keeping score. But I really like it in the fact that we're able to play a quick game and I get to pull out all the fancy stuff. Yeah. So I really like the components. I think it looks nice. I think over time I'm worried about the finish and, them scuffing up in the bags.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I've been wanting this game for a long time.
Definitely silkscreen. They don't feel like they're varnished. I guess you could probably put a varnish on them, might protect them a little bit more, but
yeah,
man, they look good. Like the artwork, it's nice. It just looks nice.
Yeah, and the player boards are nice, and all in all, I'm very, very pleased with it.
Yeah.
So.
It's a relatively fun and I would say accessible game in terms of mechanics. There's not a whole lot that's going on, which can be a very refreshing thing. At its heart, you are working as an auction. You are bidding on various tiles that you want to be able to bring down into your collection itself. So auction and bidding is a big part of this game. Set collection is another part of the game that you'll notice, and that might be where you can pull the most strategy out of the game itself and what you're going to do, or maybe what you're going to prevent others from being able to do. And it's got quite a bit of push your luck as well. I think that's another fun part of the game, in kind of especially bringing complexity to the game, is wondering when it is that you're going to bid. What are you going to bid? What do you want to not bid on so you can hold your sun tiles back so that maybe you can have a better round the next round to have higher numbers, or at the end of the game have the highest value score between all of your sun tiles that's on your board. So there's a lot of push your luck in this game, a lot of kind of egging each other on and what they're going to do as well. Kind of brings the mechanics around into a fun area. So I've known Brad for now almost, kind of going on 2 years, and for about 8 of those years, he has been talking about this game. Non-stop talking about Ra. Now, funny thing is I've played Knizia games. Brad has not. He doesn't own them. I own a few. I had not played this one yet. I sat down after completely not paying attention to any of the rules that he sent me, any of the videos that he sent me, anything to prepare to learn how to play this game, and we sat down at board game night. And we played. And I immediately picked it up. Fantastic thing about this game. You can pick it up pretty quick. It's not that hard to play. And then I lost. By, I think, 2 points. 2 points! Do you know who I lost to? 2 points. So we played it again. And I won. By 2 points. Payback. So the pros with this game, I feel like, might be summed up pretty quickly for me. You might have a little bit more than I do, but for me, the pros of this game really come down to that interaction between you and the other players in terms of the tension at the table with push your luck. It's not typically a thing that I gravitate to when it comes to gaming, but it's kind of relaxed in this game. There's still a little bit of tension, but that brings a lot of the fun into the game itself. That's my first pro. There's a couple other things that I do really like about this game. I really like how you are exhausting resources, which are things you want to plan for at the next era, the next epoch, or end of game scoring. I really like that a lot. And I do like the set collection aspect of this game. I do like the puzzle that you have in your own board and how you're going to be able to pull things together. It kind of takes the luck aspect and puts it into a kind of strategic thing on your board, I think, or maybe a tactical play on the board. So that set collection comes in quite fun for me and puzzliness.
And I would say the nice thing is this is another one of those where it's easy to learn, hard to master, right? Like, it's like, oh, I can go through the mechanics and I can make sets and do things, but then it's like, when do you really make sure that you're just bidding to get the number of the sundial to set you up for the next round, right? And so you don't lose 5 points at the end of the game. And I think there's intricacies in this, and I have played one other Reiner Knizia game that it was all right. Thought it was kind of cool. Really was excited to play it, but I was like, eh. But this one, I like the back and forth, and you're constantly drawing tiles, and half of the tiles you draw go away at the end of every round, and the other half are consistently there that help you score for all 3 rounds. And then one section is like just end of game scoring. So it's just this neat dynamic where you're kind of going back and forth and, pulling things out of a bag, and you pull the red tile, and then it starts to make the game end faster. And then somehow it's always like the game ends quick at the end. Like, it's like it'll sit there and take a while, and then bam, 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 bam. And, I really find that interesting. And then I also like the components. I know I talked about that in the appearance, but, I'm happy with the amount of money I paid for this and what it is. But we'll get to that in the value proposition.
Yeah, I think having the upgraded stuff, I think, helps the environment of the gameplay. That makes it a little bit better for me. Yeah. There's some fun things with it.
Any cons?
Well, not a whole lot, to be honest. I am not a huge push your luck bidding type. Like, the economic games are not my thing. They come out well in this game. I think he did what normally would probably be for me a negative end up becoming almost a positive for me with this one. So I don't have a whole lot of cons. I think the game is short, which is a pro, but sometimes maybe it does end too quickly. I want to build an engine. I like the engine building, and that's the left side of your board is very much engine building. It's kind of what you're doing throughout the game to get to the end, and all of a sudden the game can end quick, long before I want it to be done. That's a negative for me. Is I want more out of it,
which is also a pro, right? For me, it's kind of like, it's not a filler game, but it almost feels like a filler game. Like, it has that, like, I can pull it out easily. I can teach it easily. We can play it fairly quickly. It's going to be a 30 minute to an hour game, depending on how many players you have. I felt, and I know I had somebody ask on one of the posts, is this good at 2? We've played it at 2. I enjoyed my game quite significantly. I can see why people would say it's better at higher rates, but I didn't find it any less enjoyable at 2. So I think 2's fine. 3 was fine. I think 4 would be fine. I'd like to play it at 5, but I didn't feel any different. And like, it wasn't take that at 2 any more than it was at a higher player count.
Yeah.
I really thought at 2 we were going to end up being like, it feels like a take that game. This game didn't feel any different. At any player count. So I would recommend it at any player count.
I almost feel like it was a little bit more casual of a game, just the 2 of us. And I almost see it as a good filler game for Brad and I when we're sitting down, maybe playing other games, because we knocked that out in like 20, 25 minutes, something like that. Like, it went very quick.
Felt quick.
Yeah. And I think also for me, and this might be a pro that I see as a negative or a con at higher player counts, is playing it only at 2 how quick it played meant that there was less draw from the bag. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's the same draw because everybody's drawing it, but it felt like there was less draw, which is the randomness of this game. And that can bring a lot of randomness into it. Like we had some games where we were playing that it was like, we need something better. Or all of a sudden these raw tiles come out so frequently that it kind of takes the enjoyment out of building up things here and getting the tension of who wants to buy it, who wants to bid on it. So yeah, the con could be the randomness that you get with this bag, but I feel like even at 3-player, it wasn't that bad because you do have the set collection, you have the engine building, you have the things that you're playing for. It turns out pretty good.
Yeah. I'd say the only con I have really was, since I had never played this game and trying to understand how the rules were written, I think the rules, like, even when you came over, we were reading and trying to be like, what are they actually saying here? And are they saying, you know, putting those tiles up above with this thing, because this is a new thing versus the old game, or putting the tiles down here? So there was a little bit of like trying to really understand. And then we had to go watch somebody to be like, you know, this is how they're doing it. But, you know, that's a minor nitpick, but it's like, okay, that I think could have been given to somebody who's never played the game. And like, does this make any sense? I don't understand what you're talking about here. Okay, we'll add some more verbiage in a picture.
Yeah. We ended up playing it perfectly fine, exactly like we're supposed to. But there were a couple moments of, okay, what's the difference between a Nile tile and the water tile? You know, what's, I think the biggest thing that we had was what goes at top, what goes at bottom, kind of how to figure out, you know, based on the verbiage. But
so all in all, I think that's the only con I have about it. It played faster than I thought, but I want to play it more. So, it's kind of like, give me enough that I want to play more. I mean, it's not overstaying its welcome. That's a pretty good sign, in my opinion.
Yeah, all of the Knizia games I've played have been pretty quick. So maybe that's common with his designs, which is not a bad thing, not a negative thing. But I can say that of the games I've played, this is the one that I've wanted to immediately play again, or wanted more of in my initial gameplay. Yeah. So
definitely. So what about the weight rating? There's a little bit of weird things going on from BGG side, but what are we talking about
kind
here?
Of looking on, so we were looking on BGG, and for some reason it kept coming up with no weight rating. And I always like to see what other people are kind of rating the game at, so I can kind of gauge on my thoughts if they're aligning with that or not. You know, no weighting to go about, so I can't compare my thoughts to somebody else's other than maybe yours. I'm putting this at about a 2.2 in terms of weight. In terms of learning the game, being able to play the game, bringing people into it, I think it's an easier game than 2.2. But I think as you get into the strategy of bidding, the limitations you have on the bidding and the set collection, kind of setting yourself up, that's where you can start to get more strategy, which is going to give you a little bit more complexity in the game. But I think 2.2 is about where I would rate this. I don't think it's much more complex than that. I wouldn't say it's much easier than that, although I could easily see sitting down with people who are not board gamers and being able to explain it, and they'd pick it up.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have any. It's easy to teach.
Yes.
So it's going to be in that 2 area, right? So no issues there.
Yeah. What about the value?
So the value. So I thought it was a pretty good deal with all the deluxifications, and right now, if you were to go out and buy it, you can actually still pick some of the deluxe version up on 25th Century Games website. They sent out an email blurb to all the Kickstarter people. And it's $90, and you get the big chunky coins, you get the big chunky boy, all the wooden components, and the non-deluxe version is, we just looked it up, Game Nerds has it for $36 on pre-order. Now, the sundials are still wooden, which is nice. The coins are all cardboard, which I don't think matter. You could even use clays. They're just for scoring points. That's all these are. And then it looks like, and it's really hard to tell, I'm going to pick this one up, looks like these tiles are cardboard in the $35 version. So, which would kind of make sense. That's a much lower price and more in line with what I would think something like this would cost. Can't put a price on the deluxe version. That's really you. I think I got a great deal. I was happy with it. I wasn't paying so used to like hundreds of dollars to get it to me. So I was glad for what I paid on the Kickstarter. I think the $35, I think this is right in line. You know, I think it retails for $50, but being able to get this game that is selling for 100, and it's even now the old one's still, it's brought it down from 200. I just looked it up on eBay. It's like 140, 130, and those pieces aren't cardboard.
Yeah. But
at the same time, I don't want to pay that much for this game. So
not worth it for that much for this game.
Get the new one, get the deluxe version instead of getting the $130 version, or the used $130 version on eBay. So
yeah, at 35, I think it's good. At 50, I don't know. So what are you rating it? Do you think that's...
I think at 35, I think it's a 4.5 out of 5. I think that's a good deal. And like I said, like the premium thing for me was a 4 out of 5. If I'm going to tell you, like, I was happy with what I paid and what I got. It exceeded my expectations, honestly, for what I paid.
This is a very nice game on the table when it's all deluxe. I can't tell you what it looks like, not the deluxe, because I don't have that. I haven't played it, but these coins here are nice. I like metal coins a lot. They're unique. They look good. They do score, or they do have a pretty good purpose, as opposed to maybe using iron clays where you can see the value, or poker chips where you can see the colors. You can hide these. You can flip them upside down so nobody knows at the table what it is. And they're heavy. They're heavy. Yeah, they're very nice. Like, that's on the table. This looks fantastic.
Yep, definitely. So that's my value rating. So
Excellent.
We should probably head back to the Calyx shelf and talk about our BGG rating.
Let's do it.
Woohoo!
So those are our thoughts about the game. What do we think about it in terms of our rating?
So BGG-wise, I really like this game. Now, you got to realize this is kind of a Grail game for me. I never wanted to pay $200 for a used game, and just never had the opportunity to play it. It just wasn't around, right? So when 25th Century Games came out with this, I was like really, really excited. I'm like, finally, I don't have to spend $200, on an older game. I can pay too much for the deluxe. Actually, it's not too much. This was a really good deal from 25th Century Games. I really thank them for bringing this out, being a smaller publisher and everything. So my BGG rating on this right now is an 8, and I think it can go up because it's a nice filler game. I get to pull out a lot of deluxe components, which is awesome. So I'm definitely sticking with an 8.
Excellent. I am not rating it quite as high, but it is kind of itching towards that. So for me, my first gameplay, I put it at a 7. Since then, I have rated it about a 7.5. And I'm curious if it's also going to go up. I think one thing that I love about this game is the fact that it is easy to bring out. It's easy to table. It's easy to bring to people who maybe are not used to games like auctioning, bidding, push your luck, set collection. And so for that, maybe it's going to go up a little bit. But for now, it's sitting right at a solid 7.5. Cool.
We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you enjoy some of the camera angle differences that we're doing. We're going to see how it all works out and comes in together at the edit. But if you do, comment down below. Let us know what you think. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you hanging around for a while sitting at the table talking about these board games. So please feel free to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell if you want the constant notifications of us popping up on your theme. And we hope you just enjoy it.
And just remember, no matter what you play, whether it's solo, with family, or friends,
enjoy whatever games you are bringing to the table.
Have a great night. Bye.